April the 2nd, 1982, Argentine forces came ashore in the Falklands, and within hours the capital Stanley was under their control. Later, giving evidence in private to an official inquiry, Margaret Thatcher said she'd not thought an invasion was likely until 2 days beforehand. "I never expected the Argentines to invade the Falklands head-on," she said. "It was such a stupid thing to do. As events happened, such a stupid thing even to contemplate doing." On March the 31st, 1982, Margaret Thatcher saw the raw intelligence that suggested that an Argentine invasion of the Falklands was imminent. And later she told the Franks Inquiry, "It was the worst, I think, moment of my life." Because it was then that she realized just how serious this was. And she went on to write, "That night, no one could tell me whether we could retake the Falklands. No one. We did not know. We did not know." On the day of the invasion, the official records reveal that it was an amateur radio ham working at the BBC who provided the government with the first confirmation of the Argentine landings.
The Argentines had announced the invasion at 9:30 in the morning our time. There was absolutely nothing coming from the islands. I spent the day on the amateur radio transmitter here at the BBC and managed to contact someone I knew in the islands who said, "It's all over. There's an Argentine aircraft carrier in the bay, troops all over town, the governor and the Marines under arrest. It's all finished."
The United States was keen to provide Britain with maximum support. America offered an aircraft carrier, although it wasn't needed. But the files also show that Mrs. Thatcher rejected President Reagan's calls for dialogue.
Mrs. Thatcher really isn't in the mood for compromise. There will be negotiations while the task force is moving south, but there is no mistake that she's prepared to use force if the negotiations fail.
After a late-night phone call between the two leaders, Mrs. Thatcher's private secretary wrote, "The Prime Minister asked the President to put himself in her position. She had lost valuable British ships and invaluable British lives. She was sure that the President would act in the same way if Alaska had been similarly threatened."
Gentlemen, I've just heard that the white flag is flying over Stanley.
On June the 14th, Argentine troops surrendered. The war archives tell us that Argentina was also wrong-footed by events in the Falklands. The junta in Buenos Aires never thought that British forces would sail 8,000 miles and defend a population of just 1,800. Peter Biles, BBC News.